Hi, I'm Dr. Chad Larson. Thanks for joining me in another episode of Keep It Real. So we're working our way through a series of strategies to help combat symptoms of anxiety. Anxiety is something that I just hear from patients quite a bit, and just people in general. Anxiety seems to be a symptom or a condition that seems to be kind of growing in our society, and there's probably lots of underlying reasons for that. But if you start to check out these 5 strategies, these can be good underlying reasons for why anxiety might exist for you, but also they can be ways that you could start to address the symptoms associated with anxiety. And these are all scientifically validated strategies, and they're all fairly simple. So number 1, we talked about certain breathing exercises, so you can check out that episode for more details about that and some of what the scientific literature has to say about that. And then number 2 on the list was decreasing exposure to artificial blue light. The artificial blue light we get from our handheld devices like our tablets and e-readers and our smartphones and video games. Particularly at night, this blue light increases our cortisol, which can add to our stress hormonally and biochemically, and increase symptoms of anxiety. And it also decreases our output of melatonin. And melatonin is the hormone that helps to induce and sustain sleep. So it kind of reverses the whole pattern that we really want when we're getting ready for bed at night. And so I'm going to build on that concept a little bit today with number 3, which is sleep, and how sleep is important to help decrease symptoms of anxiety. There's lots of research about that. And number 4 on the list, which we'll talk about next time, is making healthy food choices, making better food choices. And then number 5 on the list is getting out in nature. And there's some cool studies that have been done on improving symptoms of anxiety and really just decreasing overall what they call negative emotional states. And so we'll talk about that in that episode. So today, let's build on the concept that we started last time about artificial blue light. How artificial blue light really, what it does is it throws off our circadian rhythm. And the circadian rhythm helps to balance our sleep and wake cycles. So if we're getting too much blue light at night, this could be one of the reasons why we're not sleeping well. And if we're not sleeping well, then that'll definitely day after day, week after week, month after month, increase negative emotional states, with anxiety being one of those things. So there's some other things to think about with sleep, and there's kind of a helpful acronym that you can remember, and the acronym fortunately is SLEEP. And I'll break down that acronym real quick, but this was from a study that was published a couple years ago in a journal called Current Psychiatry Reports, and they talked about some different things that we want to think about when sleep is an issue. And they talked about how sleep imbalances will throw off their circadian rhythm, which will definitely increase symptoms of anxiety and things like that. So the SLLP in this acronym, the S is schedule. So it's shown that it's really important to establish a pretty regular cycle or schedule of your sleep pattern. You want to go to bed around the same time at night and wake up about the same time at night, and then your body just expects to be in that pattern, and that helps to go into those deeper levels of sleep when you're on that type of schedule. The L is the length of your sleep, or the duration of your sleep. So how many hours are you sleeping? And what goes along with that is interruptions of sleep. So if you're only sleeping for an hour and then you wake up and you're up for an hour and then you go back to sleep for an hour, that's involved in the concept of duration, and that could affect how you feel the next day if your duration and the length of your sleep isn't quite as adequate. And then the E is environment. What environment are you sleeping in? So if you're like I was the other night, and I found myself waking up on the couch at like 3:30 in the morning with lights on, and then I went to bed and woke up at 5:30, that was not a good environment. So with lights on, we know that lights can really influence the depth and the length of our sleep. So that was not a good environment to be in to have good sustained sleep. So if that happens night after night, that's going to really affect your daytime emotional state and your mood. So so environment is one. The second E in the sleep acronym is extra sleep. So naps. Sometimes doing short power naps could really recharge the brain, recharge the body, kind of reset how we feel. So that's the next E, and then the P is prescription medications. And you could actually include other things like non-prescription medications, even recreational drugs, and I'd even include alcohol in that. The medications that people are consuming and excessive alcohol intake have all been shown to interrupt sleep patterns. So excessive alcohol and certain medications. So if you chronically don't get good sleep and you're experiencing some of these negative emotional states, you might want to consider asking your physician or looking up yourself on the internet what are potential side effects of the medications that you're on. You might find that the prescription medications that you're on, whether or not you can come off of them, that would be the, you know, plan B, but at least plan A, you can find out, are your medications influencing your sleep pattern? And that could be one of the underlying reasons of why you might be having anxiety or a negative emotional state. So SLEEP is the acronym for you to start to think about. If any things are kind of true for you, then start to engage with one of those strategies to help you improve your sleep. So sleep is definitely a very, very key factor. Next time we'll talk about how diet can influence your emotional state. And then for number 5 on the list, we'll talk about getting out in nature. And then that'll complete the series on scientifically validated strategies for decreasing symptoms of anxiety. So I hope that helps, and we will talk to you next time. Keep it real.